Hello, 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 and welcome to the Penguins Collective Podcast. My name is Louie.
My name is Josh.
Oh, and we're two brothers who love to talk about hockey.
Especially the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, my goodness. The Pittsburgh Penguins got blanked by the Edmonton Oilers 4-0. The Pittsburgh Penguins are dead. Okay, the Pittsburgh Penguins are absolutely dead. They stink. Pile of garbage. I knew someone who went to the game tonight. I asked him, how was it in the arena? And he said it was quiet. The Pittsburgh Penguins. What was that?
Could tell on the
Absolutely. You could tell on the broadcast that it was dead, that the Penguins fans were frustrated, that everything just was not working out for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it showed. They just could not get it done tonight. We'll get into that in a moment, but I want to thank everyone for joining us on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Now, we are now going to be streaming on Facebook and Instagram, as well as all the other platforms. So we're going to be on 5 platforms live moving forward. I think we're not live on Facebook and Instagram. We are in the it says we're streaming on Instagram, but I don't see that. So, whatever. We're trying to figure that out. No big deal. You're here with us today, which is what we appreciate. Also, I want to thank you for listening to this podcast in the future. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe it's 5 days from now, and you're wondering, how can the Penguins lose 3 games in a row and only score once in those 3? And you came back to listen to where it went wrong. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your favorite podcast. We appreciate you joining us today. And with that, hello, Josiah, Josh. How is this game, man? How is the Penguins sucking so bad?
Yeah. So first of all, there is a clear delay between us.
Yeah,
But in the
you're
meantime,
sounding
we're gonna
a little bit robotic.
really.
It's okay though. Yeah, a little bit.
Oh
It's all right.
boy, here we go.
This
But
is how we're matching the Penguins' energy today, and I love it.
this is what happens when you have a 1:00 puck drop, and it's just what it is. And yeah, I mean, honestly, the game was horrendous. What I enjoyed most was the interview with Olchek and Yamir Yap of the entire game.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part. The fact that he's back in town. I think he was participating in the Lemieux fantasy camp. Something
Sure.
he mentioned. I know Lemieux has like a fantasy camp every year, and he
Yes.
said that he was coming here to support, like Lemieux supported him. So, but yeah, that's a completely side note of the game at hand. But the game, horrendous. I mean, you texted me like first 3 minutes into the game, Jari is lost, and
Yeah.
it didn't get better, and that was only 3 minutes in, and everything else from there was just horrendous. I think we had 4 power plays, and
Yeah.
3 of them ended up being condensed.
Yes.
There was the 4 on where we committed a stupid penalty, created a 4-on-4, and then it was just to end the game. Right, we're on a power play to end the game. So, I mean, I know we talked about yesterday that there are people that believe that they can still make the playoffs. Sid, after the game yesterday, said that he thinks that we can still make the playoffs. I mean, this team today didn't show that they can still make the playoffs.
They're done. They're done.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah, I said yesterday that I don't think they're going to gauge anything off of this game. It's going to be Ottawa and San Jose this week. But I mean, I was hoping for a little fight. And I mean, we only got fight out of Rust and John Ludwig. That was it.
That's it. That's it.
A little bit out of Sid, but he was just angry.
More out of frustration than out of like, hey boys, let's get back into the game. He was just angry. And I think there's a more deeper level to this than what we actually realize, with Sid getting frustrated at the two people that he begged management to make sure they keep, which is Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang, how they looked absolutely terrible. Now, we've always been on their case, at least Malkin, throughout the season this year. Always been on their case, and I will own up to that. I have always been negative against Malkin because the way he's been playing this year. Let me preface this year, okay? Last year he had his moments, he played well, and then he didn't. Years before that was phenomenal for us, right? And then obviously I'm not lost on how well Malkin has played for the Penguins. But this season, he's absolutely dog water. Okay, he's absolutely terrible. He's the worst hockey player I've seen for the Penguins in a while. Okay? With the amount of money he's getting paid. Let me preface that. So, Sid is getting mad because he's watching, hey, come on, dude, you got to stay. Come on, we got to keep the core together. And now look what they're doing to Sid. To our baby boy, Sidney Crosby. Look what they're doing to him. They're turning the puck over into their own zone. Malkin. Letang doesn't know how to pass and break out anymore. He's done that 4 times. One of them was to Malkin, and Malkin fumbled the puck. And there was a moment where I'm pretty sure Gensel, sorry, whoops, Letang, I know, too soon. Letang was benched for a bit in the first period. So you go out of your way, if you're Sidney Crosby, you beg management, hey, you got to keep these two. We got to keep the core together. And then all of a sudden, this is how they pay back their friend. By taking the money and retiring. And Sid's like, I'm not out of this fight. Let's go. Let's try to win another one. And they are not helping Sid's case here. Man, was the broadcast today planting the seed in the fan base of Pittsburgh that maybe it's time to let Sid go. That's all I heard from everyone. Is on this broadcast. It's like, oh, Dubas got to make some hard decisions if they're not going to win in the next couple of years. Oh, they're kind of like how Red Wings were, and they kind of like how Chicago was. And now all of a sudden, Dubas has to make some tough decisions like trading Sidney Crosby away. So, listen here. Penguins suck, and we're not doing Sidney Crosby any favors. I am not on board with trading Sidney Crosby, and nor will I ever be on board of trading Sidney Crosby. Let me say one thing, and then Josh could take it. Pittsburgh has been spoiled for the Penguins. Sidney Crosby is a gift from God, okay, for the city of Pittsburgh. He has played unreal for the last 17 seasons, and it's sad to see him in this position because the core is letting him down. We have been blessed. We are now in a sucky phase. But hold on. We've only been bad for 2 seasons. It's not like we're dead in the water. Now, the last 3 games very much so looks like that. It very much looks like the Pittsburgh Penguins are dead and we're out of it. But I will say that it's looking rough. It's looking rough. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here, but we need to say that the Pittsburgh Penguins aren't going to trade Sidney Crosby. What I would love to see is that in the offseason, get rid of everyone who isn't named Sidney Patrick Crosby, and then get people in return NHL ready, cup hunting ready, that are youth and speed. So that way they fall into the category of Mike Sullivan's coaching. We get some new goaltending, because after today it was rough. You cannot tell me that he's our franchise goaltender and he plays like that. Offseason, make some changes, a lot of changes. And does Sullivan keep his job or does he not? I don't know anymore. I really don't. But Dubas has some big changes coming up for Pittsburgh, and one of them is definitely not trading Crosby. Josh, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, just to go off of what you were just saying there, just working backwards, Sullivan is done. The coaching staff is done. I love. I would hire him if I would pay him $1 million, like as much money as possible. I was going to say $1 million, like as if he was like some homeless man off the side of the street. This man makes plenty of millions of dollars.
He does.
I would pay him a boatload of money, a pants-load of money to my head coach if I was starting a team today. Like I would do what I can to make him my coach. However, with that said, the time has run its course with this team, and it's need to move on. And a lot of people, you know, when you read the comments that say fire Sullivan, and like the number one comment is, who do you get to replace him? Who do you put in his place? All that. Now is not the time to answer that. Okay. Now is the time to just. I think Louie pitched the idea several weeks ago, if not months ago, about the guy who won the Calder Cup in the AHL with the Checkers. What was his name? He's
Mike Bellucci.
Bellucci step into the interim head coach role, finish the year. Yes, I do believe it is time to move on.
Oh, so you're saying
now?
You're saying now? That's a different tune. You're singing a different tune.
I am singing a different tune, and that was why I'm glad you're allowing me to have time right now, because this is where my mentality is after hearing the post-game press conferences that you shared with me after our recording yesterday, that Sidney Crosby still believes that this is a playoff team. However delusional we may think that is, and on that team needs some reminding of that as well. And I think that starts with the head coach, and he's lost the locker room. I texted to you. I'm just calling it out there. I know. I don't like that term at all, but I'm throwing it out there because you see?
I can tell.
Did you see the little like intro before the game where he's talking about the line changes?
They played it twice.
So Carlson is just sitting there with his head down, no acknowledgement of what's being said, no eye contact, no nothing. Okay, that's your premier defenseman, your number one guy on your payroll, essentially. Head down, no eye contact whatsoever. And when he's done, everyone's clapping, and he just does a
like, all right.
Slow 3-time clap. All right, let me finish getting dressed and get out of here. Okay, great. Yeah. That was Carlson. And look to the left, to the left, right there, right next to Carlson is Chris Letang. And what's he doing? Just analyzing the tape that is putting on his stick. Now, I get it. He's multitask. I'm not saying he can't, but it's not a good look. Okay. I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever played youth sports, but if you ever try to do anything when the coach is talking, you're ridiculed. You're punished. Yeah. You are basically put off the team.
I want to stop you. Well, in youth sports and professional sports, these guys are
I understand.
professionals. So
I get it.
I wouldn't take the Carlson thing seriously. Maybe the Letang thing.
Okay.
Because
But that's my point.
Go ahead.
That's my point, is that there's no respect. Like it's not a, like, I'm not trying to compare youth sports and professional sports. I get it. There is no chance to compare that.
Right.
I mean, in terms of, there is a certain level of respect. That's why when Coach Donnie is on, he's Coach Donnie. Like, he wasn't our coach. He was a youth,
he was
not youth, but what would you call that?
Under 16 coach.
Under 16, yeah. But
but sorry, Donnie, for not understanding the levels of that.
Yeah, because like, it's above youth, but it's not semi-pro.
It's not.
You know what I mean?
It's not like midget hockey. It's, what is it called?
Junior hockey.
No,
junior
that hockey. They call it midget.
Junior hockey. It's junior hockey. I think that's what it is.
But you're laughing at midget.
Yes,
but that's what they call little kids, not little people.
I understand. I just don't think
that's try to
what they call it anymore.
Podcast.
I'm telling you, I don't think that's what they call it anymore because of that reason.
They still
right
call
there.
it.
I don't think they do.
It's okay. All right. Anyway, keep on going.
Keep on going.
Disagree. Don't get us canceled.
However, I think that Mike Sullivan has lost his voice in that locker room. I don't think. Essentially, it's falling on deaf ears. And I mean, I think you tweeted it. What did Sullivan say about shift changes? Too many men on the ice we had tonight. What's going on here?
My thing is this. Is that Sullivan's problem or the player's problem?
It's a combination.
Who's not?
It's a combination. We can ask Coach Donnie. It's a combination. It's literally, it's the coach, but it's also the player receiving or not receiving the message. And I think that's the issue, is that they are taking bits and pieces of what Sullivan is saying, and no one is taking it wholly. And I don't know what's going to happen when it comes to the head coaching of who it's going to be next year. But I think you move on from him now. You have Mike Vellucci step in as the interim, and who knows what's going to happen. I mean, maybe the organization loves the Wilkes-Barre coach, and we do the same type of move.
Forrester.
We move on from the NHL coaching staff, and we bring up the AHL coaching staff. Or they love someone who's an assistant somewhere else, and they bring him over.
We bring back
I have
Rick
no
Tocchet.
idea. Yeah, we didn't know who they were going to bring in for GM. We were like connecting all the dots. GM, quality control analysts and scouts within the Penguins organization, and they totally went outside of it and brought in Kyle Dubas, a 38-year-old from Toronto. So I don't know. That's where I'm at right now, just because I really feel like that this team is just going nowhere, and it's unfortunate. And I don't know. Maybe we talk to Coach Donnie about it. Well, we can't fully talk about.
No, we can't. We can't fully talk about
with Coach Donnie.
We can't because first of all, Donnie has a connection with a hockey player on the team, obviously Jansen Arkin. So he can't say like, man, these guys are falling, but he can't say that stuff, which we wouldn't want to put him in that position anyway.
No, that would get him in trouble. That would get Jansen in trouble. That would get us in trouble.
Yeah, that would literally just get everyone involved in trouble, which we don't want. We want, first of all, we like Coach Donnie. We love his attitude, and we love what he brings to the podcast. So we want to make sure he's happy being here. Second of all, we like Jansen, and we want to make sure Jansen stays in Pittsburgh as well. So if all that goes well and people like him, hopefully he comes back. Now, the Penguins just aren't playing well. And Brian, I'll go into the comments right now. So we'll go into that. Brian says, I don't think any of these guys want to play. Can't blame them for going through. Oh no, can you?
Can you
I'm gonna
blame
say,
them?
can you blame them for going through the motions? They know their playoff hopes are dead. Yeah, and I think that's what it is, because if you're in that locker room and you know you're done for the season, but everyone in coaching is saying, we could do this, and you're like, we really can't. Like, there's no physical way. Especially if we scored 1 goal in 3 games and got outscored. Let's do the math real quick. 4-4, 8-6. Was it? No, it was 4-5. So that's 9. Okay. Oh, goodness. 19. How was that good? 19
well, because
to 1.
wasn't it just 11 yesterday, and they got 4 today?
Oh, was it
So
11? Yeah, right.
So
Yeah, so it's 16.
15.
Oh no, 15. Excuse me, 15 to 1. My math was not good. 15 to 1, and you think we're getting the playoffs with that? 15 to 1 in 3 games, and you think that's what we're getting in the playoffs? So I think that's rough, because players are walking in every day trying to put on a brave face and trying to keep their jobs, while coach is like, guys, we could do it. Let's get there. It's 1 point at a time. And we just traded away one of our best players. I don't know where you go from that. Do you go, did the management give up on the team? Clear the coach isn't, because Mike Sullivan keeps on saying to interviewers and the media, hey, it's 1 point at a time. It's 1 game at a time. We can make this. We can do this. So clearly he believes in it. Sid is buying into what Mike Sullivan is saying, because he's being the leader and following the chain of command by saying, hey, yeah, it's one thing at a time and we got to do this. And it's I don't know, maybe half the team just doesn't want to play. I don't know. But it's not even about playing or not playing. It's about the mistakes, and it's about how bad they're playing. Because in the beginning of the season, yes, it was all right. We were losing, and we even said on the podcast, oh, we'll take those losses. There were some shining moments in there, and however you want to take it. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next one. That was in the beginning of the season, and we were doing all right. Now, it's not even silver linings anymore. It's literally Chris Letang turning the puck over to Connor McDavid and scoring, and it's no longer, oh, we can take that one. We'll eat that one. No, it's 2-0. Man, you're praying they don't score a third, because that game is over. Because if it's 2-0 and we get one, okay, we cut the lead in half. There's some momentum. Maybe we can turn this thing around. But as soon as they score 3 and it's 3-0, that game is over. Way over before it ever started. So it's just something about this Penguins team that is just not there. It's just not emotionally there. And go ahead.
And that's why I'm saying, if we can make a change, we can no longer make a roster change. No matter how many players we call up or call down, that's it. That's all we can do, and it's not going to work. But if there is that this team is going to make the playoffs, then I think it's the coach move that you need to make next. Because you look at the Islanders, you look at the Oilers, they went on streaks after. I mean, was it Edmonton that went 17 in a row? So that's what you would need. That's like what you would need to get back in the playoffs. So what I'm saying is, if everyone is serious about making the playoffs, that's the type of change that you make, so that you can have, hopefully, that type of response.
Do you think he gets fired, or is it a mutual parting of ways tomorrow?
If it was up to me,
I would
put it as mutual parting of ways. That's what I would do.
But now, see, usually that only works at the end of the season.
Exactly.
Season's over. Hey, you know what? I'm done. You're done. Let's just move on. But do you fire him? I don't think you fire him. You ride. This season's done anyway. There's no coming back from that. We have 19 games left. This game is over. Well, no, 18 now. So you have 18 games left. Today was the 19th game. So 18 games left. You got to win out. Like you really have to win out to get into the playoff spot. So I don't see the point of firing him now. Maybe like a month ago or in December, but we were on the bubble at that point. So it wasn't fair enough to fire him at that point. Now I agree with everyone. You know, I love Sullivan, but there's got to be a culture change in Pittsburgh. And it's not Mike Sullivan's fault. I want to say that loud and proud and off of Mount Washington that, hey, it's not Mike Sullivan's fault. It's the players that have done this to him. Similar to Sid, it's the same thing with Mike Sullivan. You guys are screwing Mike Sullivan over because he has a good game plan. He knows what he's doing. Great example was today. He literally said, guys, let's watch those line changes. Let's not get caught out there. Let's be fast. Let's be quick. Let's make sure we're off the ice and on ready to go. And then what happened in the beginning of the first period or whatever? We get a power play.
Second period.
Too many men. Second period, too many men. If I was him, I'd be throwing sticks on the ice. I'd be freaking out. I would look like John Tortorella, who refuses to get off the ice after an ejection. Just absolutely, I'd be so mad. But see, that's not Mike Sullivan. He just sits there and he eats the emotions. He just has a, not a blank stare, like an intentional stare. Like he is just, he eats it. And I think there's not much he can do here because I don't think he lost the room. I think the players just don't want to do anything. They lost the motivation. And I don't think he lost the room. Too. I think they hear him. It's just kind of like he wants us to play super hard for what? For what? Losing in these guys are all competitive. Even Sully, he's competitive. So he's like, hey, come on. Let's get back into it. Let's one good momentum swing can push us into the right direction. And the players are like, I mean, I guess I'll try that, but I don't think it's going to work. You know what they have? The Pittsburgh Penguins have the beer league mentality. They look up the clock because at least in our league, it's a running clock. Okay. So we all know if we're down by like 2 or anything more than 2, and you look up the clock and you see like 3 minutes, the game's over. Okay. No one's going out there for an extra push. We're not pulling the goalie. Like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes left to go in the game. We're not caring. Like this is a loss. We all know it. You know, like we're frustrated because everyone who's there is competitive, but it's beer league hockey mentality where it's like, yeah, we're not going to try. Season's almost over. The clock is running. What do we want to do? We want to make an extra push. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm not going to ruin the situation. And I could honestly see us moving Carlson if he's frustrated. I can see us moving people at the offseason because they have the beer league mentality. And when that season ends up and when that clock runs out, Dubas is basically, I think he just needs to get rid of everyone. Get rid of everyone. Either it's going to be a rebuild now or it's going to be a slow burn. Because I know I'm just talking around a bit here. If you're Jake Gensel, even if there's that slim chance he comes back to us in July, do you want to come back to this? Like, do you know what I'm saying? I know we're all frustrated right now about us trading Jake Gensel, but thank God he got out of here when he did. Like, he's in a great spot. He's gonna win a cup, hopefully. That's great, man. You know, maybe it was like a sacrificial mercy kill for Jake Gensel to get out of here because it's gonna get bad.
Well,
And
could
if
you see in the offseason Crosby doing what he did?
say that one more time.
Could you see Crosby going
Yeah.
out in the offseason to Jake, sitting down with him and saying, hey, I need to resign. I'll take less.
If I know Sidney Crosby, because we're best buds, he would. Yeah, Brian, I know Josh's Wi-Fi is struggling today, but that's a-okay.
I got full bars.
No, you don't. Not from my not from my end. You're just struggling. You're very robotic and very delayed. But that's okay. We still love you.
It says I'm full on my side.
It's all right. You're very pixelated.
It was the
You're
audio.
very pixelated.
Yes, it's the Wi-Fi today.
Yeah,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
You need to move to Pittsburgh. Maybe you can get some better Wi-Fi.
I freaking have really high Wi-Fi.
Don't give them a shout out because don't give the company.
Yeah, they'll be getting a call.
But I honestly think Sid would. He would say, dude, money's not important to me. How much money has Sid made over his career? He's not, and I know I said this earlier on a podcast where I'm like, oh, Sid is going to get a bag this time. Only because if you were inconvenienced, I would ask for more. And I think that's where the mindset came from. If I got inconvenienced, okay, like at my job, all right, I do all the work and I present it and I'm like, okay, we're happy with this. And then he brings someone in to like work and get the credit above it. I'll be like, no. So when I ask for a raise, it'll be, oh, I better get the bag here because I am inconvenienced. I'm doing all the work. And if you're going to just get rid of people, then why should I take less money to help the cause? Because you're not helping me right now. Yeah. Brian says kind of do the thing that the Pens did with Mario. Let's throw it up. Give Sid some ownership in his contract so he can take less money. You know what I think would have been great is if Mario Lemieux never sold the Pittsburgh Penguins to Fenway Sports Group. I think that was the end of what we loved. Fenway came in and just as a babysitter for the Penguins organization. They're not looking to make a big deal of anything. It's all for show now. It's all for show. I don't look at Ken Johnston when Mike Sullivan took over for him. That was his first year. Or Mike Johnson, excuse me, not Ken.
Oh.
Mike
Mike
Johnston. Mike Johnson was the head coach after Dan Bylsma. He was the head coach for a year. Not even a year, not a full year. He came in after Mike Bylsma got fired and then was the head coach until December of 2015, excuse me. And then Mike Sullivan got called up from Wilkes-Barre and he took us to a cup. And then next year, he did it again. And I think Fenway Sports Group ruined what was so great about Pittsburgh. Because the ownership, when that happened with Ken, I keep on calling him Ken, Mike Johnston, in order to get Mike Sullivan, Lemieux and Burke was like, we're done. We're done with this. We're not losing. We're not losing like this. We're not going to be last in the Metropolitan in December. We're not. Get it done. We're moving on. Fenway Sports Group, they're not doing anything. They're not putting pressure on Dubas to make trades, to do what needs to get done for us to be a Stanley Cup caliber team. And right now, it's over. I mean, I'm sad to say, if they don't get rid of Mike Sullivan at the end of the season, prepare for a long rebuild. If they do get rid of Mike Sullivan, I could see us making some changes and making some moves that would get us to a cup caliber team in a year's time. So all I could say is,
can I just say something real quick in my robot voice here?
Yeah, go for it.
With what you're saying with Sullivan, I completely understand. Back when Sullivan was up from Wilkes-Barre and they fired Johnston, there was really no president of hockey operations. It was like the ownership group, and then it was like there were like of the ownership group, and then Jim Rutherford. So I don't know if he had the role like
He didn't, because we didn't introduce the position of president of hockey operations until Hextall and that other guy. That wasn't a position at Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I forget his name.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So like it was easy for ownership to just kind of just be like, yeah, we're making this move. And so that's where like it's interesting to see. We don't know what actually goes on. Like between Fenway and Dubas, because Fenway may want Sullivan gone or here for the long term, and Dubas may want the opposite. And now they're battling, and no decision can be made. I don't know.
Yeah. This is a tough situation. I mean, once again, I want to make it very clear. We're spoiled Penguins fans. We've had great hockey for years and years and years and years. And now it's finally time. The time has come. Remember in 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, they said your fall will come. And we were like, no. we were oblivious. We were saying, no, there's no way we're going to fall like that. There's no way. We have things in place so that we don't become the Blackhawks. We don't become like the Red Wings. We have systems in place, and then here we are, wondering if we should trade Sidney Crosby so he can go win a cup somewhere else. I mean, what are we talking about here? What are we doing? We're spoiled. We've had great years with Sid. He's going to be here forever. Listen, Sid is not going anywhere. So if I'm Dubas and I'm Fenway Sports Group, make changes now. Make change. I'm not talking right now. I'm talking at the end of the season. You got to let go of Sullivan. I don't think he lost the room. It's just the unfortunate way of business in hockey. When the team's not succeeding, it's time for a new leadership change. It's always how it is. It's unfair how it is, but Sullivan's got to go. After Sullivan goes, trade for players with youth and speed and players that can make a cup run. I don't care who you get rid of, as long as it's not Sid. Make sure you're doing whatever you can for a cup run next season. And let's see if Kyle Dubas has the balls to do it. He had the balls to go get Carlson.
Yeah.
Right? When no one really thought that was going to be a case for Pittsburgh, he went out and did it, right? He wanted to make a splash coming into Pittsburgh, and he did that. Now's the time to see where he really is at. now is the time to see, hey, how good is Kyle Dubas? Because if he can turn this team around in the offseason, all the more power to you. And if Mike Sullivan is still the head coach and we do all those things and we win, great, awesome. I'll still love it. Mike Sullivan is always going to be the coach, but I'm at a point where I'm in a situational limbo for the Penguins where I am understanding that we've had a great run and now it's time for us to suck for a bit. But also we have Sidney Crosby. There's a chance with Sidney Crosby. So I'm also there's hope and there's realization. So they're battling right now for me. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what decisions need to be made in order for things to go our way again. I'm not in charge of the Penguins. This is a Kyle Dubas situation where he has to figure out how to get the Penguins to a Stanley Cup caliber team starting July 1st. And it better start with signing Sidney Crosby to a 4 or 5 year deal, however he wants it. Literally, however Sidney wants it. You re-sign Sidney Crosby and you make sure you get people to assist him to get to a Stanley Cup. Josh.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong at all. And, just going back to what Dubas again was mentioning in his opening presser and in the couple pressers that he's had since, that he wants to get younger, but also stay relevant. So when you go into the offseason, what does that mean? You mentioned it. NHL ready players that can compete right away. But then now you need younger. So now you got to look at guys that are like 27 in that range. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was an organization and I had a free agent who was 25, 26, 27 that I thought could help my team win games, I'm not letting that guy go. So my question is, where are these players going to be coming from? And that's where I think it's going to be a really fascinating offseason, because to see how Dubas tries to maneuver this, we may end up being because, again, an organization.
We currently are.
Letting? Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Why would you let those young guys go? So I don't know if there's going to be a whole bunch of young guys out there just waiting for Dubas to just be like, "Yep, I'll take you." And here, he's going to have to fall back on the 29, 30, 31, 32-year-olds that he's going to need to step up and hopefully play below their age, essentially. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I agree with you. I would like to be proven wrong and, let everything go opposite of what we're saying. But I would love to see the head coach, see what happens, and then go from there. If he's trash the rest of the year, then you already knew you weren't going to bring back Sullivan. Well, now Vellucci can't hang either.
For 19 games, though. For 19.
It's enough to say, yeah, this guy can do it, or have him in consideration then. You know what I mean? You don't lose him out the door. Because realistically, they're probably going to if they get rid of Sullivan, they're going to get rid of everyone. So in the offseason, Sullivan, Vellucci, Reardon, and whoever else is on the staff. But if you just
Andy
get
Kyoto.
rid of, yeah, if you get rid of Sullivan right now and you bring Vellucci up, then you can at least hang on to Vellucci in the offseason and say, for what you did for the last however many games it is, and we'll keep you in the hunt for the head coach for the future. But that's just me. I know you feel the same way about Vellucci. You've kind of made me warm up to him. So I don't know what happens.
I don't know what's gonna happen, and like Josh said, we'll see. We'll honestly see. So
Yeah.
another loss, another disappointing game from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Who knows what's going to happen? I'll end it. We'll wrap up with a Mark Madden tweet because come on. Mark Madden says the overreaction of Penn's Twitter and some media to the team being bad for the first time in decades is more than a bit silly. And listen,
You were just saying that.
I was just saying that. I was just saying, like, listen, I get it. We need to come to the realization that we're bad for the first time. But also, we have Sidney Crosby. We could win. So, no idea. I have no idea what to do. We are just two people who like hockey. We're not GM and head coaches. We are not people who pretend that we are more than just two stooges who talk in a mic about their favorite hockey team. That is it. That is all we are. We don't have the answers. We don't have the answers. But we do. We do. I guess we have a platform, Josh. Is that something? That's stupid to say? We don't have a platform.
Because I feel like we don't. Like, because like we wouldn't have enough to like have any.
First of all, we don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
Like, it's so dumb. Like, the fact that you guys watch this, it's dumb. Like, we appreciate it by all means, but it's dumb. You know, there's people out there in the Penguins media universe who think they're something because they talk into a mic and have a Twitter. And we are not those people. We're just two brothers who said, hey, we argue about the Penguins all the time. I wonder how entertaining that will be is if we put that out in the world. And you know what? For 3 seasons, it's kind of proved that some people like when two brothers argue about hockey. So I appreciate you guys listening.
Brothers for copying our bit, whatever.
Oh, yeah. I would just like to say, they're copying us, all right?
Yeah.
I'm the Jason in this situation. Josh is the Travis.
Hey, I'll take it.
But
I'm a 3-time Stanley.
I'll take
Stanley
it.
Cup. Hey, Super Bowl champion.
That's right. Yeah, you ain't Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
All right, listen. Hey, we got some news. We're up to something, Josh.
We're up to something. Are we going to do it, or are we going to confirm one more time before we? Triple check versus announce.
I say announce it. Who cares? It's fun. Listen, our next game is Tuesday, right? So that's when this is happening. After the game, 7:00, we're playing the Ottawa Senators. We have a very special guest coming on the podcast. Not only is Coach Donnie coming on for his his weekly Coach Donnie's Breakdown. Okay. What? What'd I say wrong?
No, you said annual. That's all. It's just that much of a delay. You're fine.
Hey,
keep going.
Yeah, I know. There is so much of a delay. Hold on. Tuesday, Coach Donnie's back on for another Coach Donnie's Breakdown, where we take a play and he analyzes it and makes Josh and I better hockey enthusiasts, as well as you guys who listen and watch. But we got a special guest as well. We like to keep it in the family on this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, on Tuesday after the game, we have Jansen Harkins, forward for the Pittsburgh Penguins, joining us. Let's give that a little clap. Let's give a little clap going on here. The Pittsburgh Penguins forward, Jansen Harkins, will be on the podcast. We are super excited. I'm nervous. I don't know why, but I'm nervous. He's a professional hockey player. Couple stooges. We're doing something right, which is awesome. So it's kind of cool. We're excited for it. Jansen Harkins coming on the podcast. We will double check. he could not make it, and that's fine too. But that's what we're looking on for Tuesday's show. So if you guys want to have a question for Jansen Harkins, get on our Discord. Okay, so if you get on our Discord / the Penguins Collective, you can. We're gonna for those people, we're going to take a question from the Discord. So anyone who asks a question on the Discord, we will take them and ask Jansen on Tuesday. So if you're interested in doing that, join our Discord, and then that way you get to have a question for the interview. Also, we have new media outlets, I guess, with Facebook and Instagram. Josh, we're everywhere. We're just all up in people's faces today. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Come on. This is things to get excited about. We're happy. This is the Penguins Collective is growing. We're getting hockey players on the podcast. We got a coach who breaks down plays for us. The Pittsburgh Penguins may not be good, but this podcast is getting better by the day, and I appreciate everyone who watches and listens and takes the time to listen to me rant about Evgeny Malkin. I appreciate it. I appreciate you all listening to Josh, and it's just awesome. It's awesome. Very grateful to have people like you guys who are watching and listening and putting in the comments. So it's good. Hold on. I got a random comment in there. Jesse Ryan Palm.
Shout out from Detroit.
Hello from Detroit. Love the podcast. Sup, dude? Sup? Jesse Rain Palm. This is how we end our podcast. We just try to pronounce people's names. Which goes back to, why are you guys even watching?
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, hey, thank you for watching this. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Special guest, Jansen Harkins, Donnie Harkins. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Make sure you're there. Make sure you get on Discord / the Penguins Collective podcast. Put in your question on Discord so you can ask Jansen Harkins a question. Pens Collective for all our social media platforms. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure you're there. Hit the notification bell so when we go live, you get notified. Josh, anything else? Am I missing anything else?
No, I think you nailed everything on the head. I just make sure Tuesday we want the highest live stream that we have. Let's get over 100. We've gotten close. Let's get over 100. Let's get many people as we can.
Come on. We got Jansen Harkins on the podcast.
Gonna try and keep it hockey related, but we want to get to know Jansen. We don't, he's a hockey player, but yet he's also a real person. He's got a real life. We want to see behind the helmet. We want to take
behind the face shield.
Behind the shield. I know. I wanted to say that, but I felt weird saying behind the shield.
Behind the shield.
Yeah, it seems weird.
It's a little rough. But, it's a little rough.
Yeah.
You don't want to say anyway.
Yeah. Make sure you guys come out. It's going to be a great time, especially with Coach Donnie. He always brings the energy. It's going to be lots of laughs, lots of fun. Can't wait to be there. And I'm going to triple check not only our sources, but
yeah, Josh, I don't know if you have to go to an internet cafe if they still do those things, and you need to make sure.
I guarantee I have higher Wi-Fi than an internet cafe. I guarantee it.
Well, I don't know. Right now, it looks like you're in a
that's why someone's getting a call tomorrow.
That's right. Whoever that is, I just want to say my Wi-Fi is great, Josh. My Wi-Fi is fantastic.
I know I have higher than you. So that's what I'm saying.
Hey, clearly not.
Someone's
Clearly
bill.
not. Josh, just because it's more money just means you're getting fleeced.
No.
All right. Speaking.
No. I'll show you. Thank you, Luke. I appreciate it. It might be needed.
What is Luke saying? I'll donate an Ethernet cable if needed. Thanks, Luke. All right. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next episode, which is Tuesday, March 13th. Nope.
12th.
Yep, that's the date. March 12th. Jansen Harkins on the podcast. We'll see you there. Josh, as always.
3 seconds later, let's go Pens.